Let's take a fascinating journey into the mind and its molecular secrets. Imagine your brain as a bustling city where neurons and glia work together to keep everything running smoothly. But what exactly shapes how our brain functions? Well, it all starts with our genes, those tiny instructions encoding our DNA. Variations in these genes, known as genetic variations, can influence everything from mood to behavior. Now, sometimes it's not just the genes themselves, but how they're expressed that makes a difference. Enter epigenetics, a fancy word for changes that affect gene activity without altering the underlying DNA sequence. One major epigenetic mechanism is DNA methylation, where methyl groups, think of them as molecular tags, attach to cytosine bases, especially at CpG sites, influencing whether genes are turned on or off. For example, methylation of the serotonin transporter gene can impact serotonin levels, which are crucial for mood regulation. Scientists often study these patterns using techniques like bisulfate sequencing to map methylation across the genome, identifying epigenetic signatures linked to mental health conditions. They also explore methylation quantitative trait loci regions where genetic variants influence methylation patterns and use methods like principal component analysis and Mendelian randomization to untangle these complex relationships. Certain genes, like the brain-derived neurotrophic factor and the glucocorticoid receptor gene, play vital roles in neuronal development, stress response, and metabolism. Methylation changes in these genes can affect brain regions such as the frontal lobes, intercingulate, and temporal gyrus, areas involved in motion perception and cognition. For instance, alterations in the left inferior parietal lobe or supramarginal gyrus might be linked to symptoms like hallucinations or delusions and psychosis, or the emotional flattening seen in depression. Speaking of mental health, therapies like cognitive behavioral therapy and narrative exposure therapy harness the power of exposure-based psychotherapy to help individuals reframe their experiences. These approaches can even influence epigenetic marks, potentially leading to lasting changes in gene expression. On the physiological side, our stress response involves the hypothalamic pituitary adrenal cortical axis, releasing glucocorticoids that have immunosuppressive and anti-inflammatory effects. This system can be influenced by epigenetic modifications affecting inflammation and overall health. The sympathetic adrenomedullary system also kicks in during stress, releasing catecholamines that prepare the body for action. All these factors intertwine, shaping phenotypes, observable traits and behaviors ranging from neuronal development to emotional regulation. Whether it's cortical fitting in certain brain areas or unusual thought connections in mental disorders, the interplay of genetics, epigenetics, and the environment create a rich tapestry of human experience. So next time you ponder your mood or thoughts, remember there's a whole molecular universe working behind the scenes, making each of us wonderfully unique.